I'm willing to lean on Tyler Smith and just trusting the traits, right? If anything, right, Tyler Smith is in a situation where he's on an island, so everything's a little bigger, so there could be more possibility for a holding, right? Holding calls could kill a drive, but Josh Ball could kill your fucking quarterback. You feel me? So you kind of got to weigh the good and the bad, right? What I was saying when I was breaking down offensive line last year and tackle and changes that can happen at tackle, how do you weigh it, right? Okay, so we go from Tyron Smith to Josh Ball or Tyron Smith to Waletzko. What are we losing, right? What traits are we losing? So you lose everything with Josh Ball. You don't keep a thing with Josh Ball at left tackle for you. Waletzko, you can probably keep some movement, but Tyron Smith's movement compared to Waletzko is still a big gap in that. What made me run with Tyler Smith and go, hey, I'm just going to run with Tyler, is that I'm betting on the traits, and you really don't lose anything traits-wise, respectfully. You don't lose anything traits-wise when you go with Tyler Smith, right? So, yeah, Tyron is a demigod, or Tyron in his prime was a demigod. But we got to look at Tyron Smith as he 32, but his body 40, you know what I'm saying? So we had to look at old man Tyron versus Tyler. With Tyler, you keep your power, you keep the movement, but what you miss is security, right? Is the fact that we can put Tyron Smith over there and not even worry about it, right? But if you put anybody else over there, you don't get security. Whether it be Josh Ball, whether it be Waletzko, Stephen Jones just said, hey, man, O-line tough out here. It's hard to find O-line out here. And that's something that Voch been saying for weeks. Like, we don't just walk outside and just, just pick offensive linemen off a damn tree because it's just available for you. They're hard to find. So what you got to do is you got to find a way to go from trash to just regular bad. Right. So when you look for Eric Fisher, you look for these guys like Jason Peters, you just simply want to get a little less worse than what you really is, than what you really are. Tyler Smith wouldn't be bad at tackle, Will Steele. It's just the occasional, we may get caught slipping with a penalty here or there, right? Because the traits are there. And to be fair, we just keep it a buck. We love to talk about Tyler Smith playing tackle like that shit was years ago. It was months ago. Tyler Smith played left tackle months ago. Now, Tyler Smith playing tackle at Tulsa versus Tyler Smith playing tackle in the National Football League is totally different. It ain't the same thing, but we're at least banking on traits, okay? Josh Ball played at Marshall, and that motherfucker didn't even play football last year. That's the same kind of boat that you in. Well, let's go play that regular-ass North Dakota. Not North Dakota State. Just regular North Dakota. He ain't play competition for real neither. So Tyler Smith, out of your offensive tackle options that's in the house, Tyler Smith has probably faced the most competition at left tackle than any of these guys. I know Avion Collins is there, but if we keeping it a buck, man, it's time to follow the money and follow the traits. So I started writing things down, right? What are some of the pros and cons to Tyler Smith playing left tackle, and what could you do to make things a little more, hopeful for him, a little easier for him, right? I see some people in the chat box right now that's ready to call me a homer. I ain't saying nothing wrong yet, Will. Still, I ain't say Tyler Smith was gonna come out here and be a all-pro left tackle or nothing. We just simply having a conversation, right? Mm-hmm. So, I look at some of the things that Tyler Smith were bad at. We go to Tulsa. A lot of his holding calls came from D lineman crossing face, right? So we'll pass it, and if the end go from C gap to B gap, right, that's when he'll end up going, oh snap, I'm panicking, grab you and try to go inside with him. Well, the good thing about gap exchanges for center to guard, they translate very easily, right? Because it's not like a big mechanical thing that comes along with gap exchanging. It's more just an awareness thing. So a gap exchange at tackle is just like a gap exchange at guard. Just like a gap exchange at guard is the same thing as a gap exchange from center. It's not this mechanical thing that's going on. It's just that you got to know as an offensive lineman, when my man disappears, somebody else is coming. The only thing that's different is now as Tyler Smith playing tackle, his gap exchange could be coming from inside out or outside in. And C gap is the big thing that's making this difficult, which moves to my next point. One easy thing that you can do to make Tyler Smith more comfortable at tackle, in which he should be comfortable at tackle because he's been playing tackle, right? But makes him more efficient at tackle. We feel good about Tyler Smith fighting in the phone booth, right? Will Steele, we feel comfortable about him fighting in the phone booth. The only thing that makes it weird is that when he's at tackle, his gap is C gap. So if he's out there by himself, C gap is his outside foot to the sideline. That's scary for us. I know he's gonna say that he's comfortable there. He's played tackle before. That, you know, from my left foot to the sideline is a lot of space, right? But something that we can do is simply put a tight end there. Not even a chip. We would have to chip like guys on Tyron Steele's side because there may be a power deficiency with Tyron Steele when we're pass setting. Luckily with Tyler Smith, we don't have a power deficiency. We feel strong with Tyler Smith in a wrestling match. So simply putting a tight end on his side takes C gap from sideline to left foot. It's only tight end's right foot to left foot now. So basically putting a tight end there, not even chipping them, not even running into nobody, not double teaming anybody, but just putting a tight end there simply makes C gap a phone booth, right? So if you're Shaq Barrett rushing on that side, if there's no tight end there, you can go as wide as you want to. Well, if Shaq Barrett is there now and there's a tight end there, he has to be gap integral. That's where we have the advantage. On defense, they got to put guys in gaps. They got to fit somebody in a gap. Well, if there's a tight end there, Shaq Barrett got to be a little tighter. And if you're going to be a little tighter, Will Steele, don't you feel comfortable about Tyler Smith versus Shaq Barrett like in a phone booth as opposed to an island?
100%.
That's fair. If you look at what we were doing last year with Tyron Steele versus Joey Bosa, those guys would chip Bosa a little bit, then they'll run their route. You know, Zeke will have to be around and then he'll go away. I think if you're gonna have to give any kind of help to Tyler Smith, it'll have to be on the inside, right? If somebody's crossing face or if somebody's doing some weird stuff, if there's a blitz or something like that, there's gonna have to be some inside help. But like I said a little bit ago, if Tyler Smith gets a holding, it might kill a drive. Josh Ball will kill your fucking quarterback. It's a difference, right? So in my mind, that's a good way to protect him, right? Just put a guy there. Just insert a guy. He ain't got to be responsible for him. If you look at the big film or whatever, some of our tight ends, there's reports that Dalton Schultz was blocking better. All right, cool. We'll take that. But Jake Ferguson is blocking well, but he's blocking with attitude as of now. Jake Ferguson still kind of small. Hendershot is really, really small, and he's having a little more trouble being powerful. Those dudes will get bigger sooner or later. You don't want those guys blocking defensive ends anyway. Cool. That gives you an opportunity to put a dude that, hey, Hendershot, I don't want you blocking a defensive end, but this would be perfect if you just line up there and not have to deal with that dude at all. You just here for Tyler. As far as run game stuff, Tyler Smith gonna get busy in the run game, sir. What we doing? We ain't even gotta talk about Tyler Smith in the run game, but the same rules apply, right? If you want to cut down on, some of that spacing, put a guy there. Because to be fair, if a tight end is there, it's either gonna be a combo or the tight end is gonna just best release to a linebacker or a safety anyway, right? Tyler Smith we're only there for spacing. I feel good about Tyler Smith blocking these defensive ends. And I'm saying Shaq Barrett purposely because that's the fucking op. That's the next dude we got to play. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? After that, we'll line up against Hubbard and Henderson. And then the week after that, who we got a week after that? We got the Giants. I feel good about us smoking the shit out them dudes. So, hey, we got time to figure it out. We got time to figure it out before this thing gets too serious. As far as, running the opposite direction, that's another way out that we could possibly go through. Not that you don't want Tyler Smith leading. There's a way to make Tyler Smith lead. But if Tyler Smith's your left tackle and you're running to the right side, that means Tyler Smith gets to wrestle and be in a phone booth again. Right. So what we got to do, this ain't going to be able to happen all the time. But if you want Tyler to be more comfortable, it's just like throwing a bubble to a wide receiver on the first play of the drive. Hey, we're just going to get it to you, easy pass, warm you up a little bit. Hey, if you want to warm Tyler Smith a little bit up, hey, just let him wrestle people. Let him wrestle. Danny Savage says he didn't spell Ojulari correctly, but I know who he was talking about. Only had 9 sacks as a rookie for the Giants. Ojulari don't want to wrestle Tyler Smith neither. Passing game, we'll talk about it. Luckily, Dak is a dude that's top 5 in release time or whatever. You know what I mean? Getting rid of the ball quick. So as our identity as an offense is going to be a lot of running the football. There's going to be a lot of slamming into people. And if we're throwing the football, we wasn't going to be a very vertical team anyway. We weren't going to be too vertical where we had, all right, Tyler Smith, go out there and pass block on the island for 8 seconds. Nah. We're going to get rid of the ball quick, man. So that's basically, some of these thoughts that I had in my notepad, man. These were some of the things that I thought about when I was thinking about Tyler Smith at left tackle. It's not going to be cute. He may not be a Pro Bowler. Our luck, he might be. He's not going to be a Pro Bowler or anything like that. He's not going to set the world on fire. They say Tyron Smith's going to come back for the playoffs. I ain't with it. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that there's a world where Tyler Smith can be a good left tackle for you. Because to be fair, we don't get full seasons with Tyron Smith anyway, right? So just ask yourself, Tyler Smith, can you be better than Cam Fleming? Can you be better than Cam Irvin? Can you be better than Tyron Second? And I think that if we're betting on the traits, we can easily do that. Hopefully. But we'll see. We'll never know until that gets here. September 11th will be here before you know it.